In Part 2, The Constitution and the Early Republic of our comprehensive U.S. history series, we delve into the crucial period when the United States was forging its identity. Join us as we explore the drafting of the U.S. Constitution, the challenges of the early republic, and the visionary leadership of figures like George Washington and John Adams. Welcome back to our journey through American history. In this episode, we step into the late 18th century, a pivotal time when a fledgling nation sought to create a lasting framework for government and governance. This is the Constitution and the early republic, shaping a new nation. The road to independence. The early history of the United States is marked by its struggle for independence from British rule. By the late 18th century, the American colonies were growing restless under British colonial policies and taxation. This discontentment eventually culminated in the American Revolution, which not only led to the birth of the United States but also set the stage for the creation of a new government. The American Revolution was a monumental turning point in history, as 13 British colonies declared their independence in 1776 and formed a united front against the British Crown. The Declaration of Independence, drafted primarily by Thomas Jefferson, declared that all men are created equal and possess unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This document would inspire generations to come. The Revolutionary War that followed was a long and arduous struggle, with the American forces, led by General George Washington, facing numerous challenges. However, the dedication and resilience of the American troops, coupled with support from foreign allies, eventually led to victory in 1783. The Constitutional Convention. Victory in the Revolutionary War brought independence, but it also exposed the weaknesses of the government under the Articles of Confederation. The central government was too weak to manage the nation's finances, provide for a common defense, or resolve interstate disputes effectively. In 1787, delegates from 12 states, Rhode Island did not participate, convened in Philadelphia to address these issues and create a new system of government. This gathering became known as the Constitutional Convention, and its primary aim was to draft a new constitution that would establish a strong federal government while safeguarding individual liberties. The convention was attended by some of the most influential figures in American history, including George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and many others. Their discussions and debates laid the foundation for the U.S. Constitution, which remains one of the most revered and enduring documents in the history of democratic governance. Drafting the U.S. Constitution. The process of drafting the U.S. Constitution was a complex and contentious one. Delegates came from diverse backgrounds and held varying opinions on the structure and powers of the new government. One of the most critical debates was the balance of power between the states and the federal government. The Virginia Plan, proposed by James Madison, advocated for a strong federal government with three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. This plan would become the foundation for the structure of the federal government as outlined in the Constitution. On the other hand, the New Jersey Plan, presented by William Patterson, called for a unicameral legislature and was more focused on preserving the sovereignty of individual states. Compromises, such as the Great Compromise, were necessary to bridge these ideological divides. The Great Compromise proposed a bicameral legislature with a House of Representatives based on population and a Senate with equal representation for all states. This arrangement sought to balance the interests of both larger and smaller states. Another significant compromise was the 3/5 Compromise, which addressed the issue of how enslaved people would be counted for representation and taxation. It was agreed that each enslaved person would be counted as 3/5 of a person for these purposes. The Constitution's preamble articulated its goals, including establishing justice, ensuring domestic tranquility, providing for the common defense, promoting the general welfare, and securing the blessings of liberty for all citizens. The convention also established a process for ratification by the states. To become law, the Constitution needed to be approved by at least 9 of the 13 states. Ratification was a challenging process, as it required convincing both supporters, Federalists, and opponents, anti-federalists, of the new system of government. The ratification process. Ratification of the Constitution was not a foregone conclusion. The states were deeply divided over the proposed changes, and the battle for ratification played out in intense debates in state conventions and through the written word. In a series of articles known as the Federalist Papers, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay argued for the Constitution's ratification. These essays eloquently explained the advantages of the proposed system of government, emphasizing the need for a strong federal authority to maintain order, security, and economic stability. The anti-federalists, on the other hand, were concerned that the Constitution would create a government with too much power, potentially infringing on individual liberties. Figures like Patrick Henry and George Mason voiced their concerns about the lack of a Bill of Rights in the original Constitution. Ultimately, the Federalists secured enough support, and the Constitution was ratified. Delaware was the first state to ratify, and New Hampshire's approval, as the ninth state, marked the establishment of the new government under the Constitution. Subsequently, the Constitution went into effect in 1789. George Washington's leadership. In April 1789, the newly ratified Constitution led to the election of the country's first president. Unanimously, the Electoral College elected George Washington, who remains an iconic figure in American history. Washington's presidency set numerous precedents and established crucial institutions of government. He assembled a talented group of advisors, including Alexander Hamilton as Secretary of the Treasury and Thomas Jefferson as Secretary of State. His leadership helped stabilize the nation's finances, shape its foreign policy, and build a sense of unity among the states. Washington's decision to step down after 2 terms in office was a pivotal moment. He refused to seek a third term, setting a precedent for presidential term limits. This peaceful transfer of power was a testament to the strength of American democracy and the principles outlined in the Constitution. John Adams and the birth of political parties. Upon Washington's retirement, John Adams became the second president of the United States. Adams faced significant challenges during his presidency, including the quasi-war with France and political divisions at home. During Adams' presidency, the nation saw the emergence of political parties. The Federalists, led by Alexander Hamilton, advocated for a strong federal government in closer ties with Great Britain. In contrast, the Democratic Republicans, led by Thomas Jefferson, supported a limited federal government and favored close relations with France. The Alien and Sedition Acts, passed during Adams' presidency, were controversial laws that aimed to curtail criticism of the government and limit the rights of immigrants. These acts were deeply divisive and contributed to Adams' unpopularity, eventually leading to his defeat in the election of 1800. The Bill of Rights. One of the most significant concerns of the anti-federalists during the ratification process was the absence of a Bill of Rights in the Constitution. In response to these concerns, James Madison proposed a series of amendments to the Constitution, 10 of which were ratified by the states and became known as the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights enshrined essential individual liberties and limitations on the federal government's power. These amendments included the right to free speech, freedom of the press, the right to bear arms, protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, and the prohibition of cruel and unusual punishment. The inclusion of the Bill of Rights reassured many Americans who were concerned about the potential abuse of federal power. It remains a cornerstone of American democracy and a testament to the adaptability of the Constitution. In the early days of the Republic, the United States was an experiment in democracy, with the Constitution serving as its guiding compass. As we move forward in our journey through American history, we'll continue to explore the challenges and triumphs that shaped this remarkable nation. Creating an outro script for your video helps conclude the content and leave a lasting impression on your viewers. Here's an outro script that wraps up the Constitution and the early Republic, shaping a new nation. Thank you for joining us on this captivating journey through the early years of the United States, a time when the foundations of our nation were being laid. The Constitution and the early Republic was a pivotal chapter in our history, one that shaped the very essence of who we are as a people. As we reflect on the incredible stories of vision, determination, and compromise that brought the U.S. Constitution to life, we're reminded that our great experiment in democracy continues to evolve, just as it did in the late 18th century. The U.S. Constitution has endured for over 2 centuries, adapting to the changing needs and aspirations of the American people. It remains a testament to the enduring values of liberty, justice, and the pursuit of happiness, as envisioned by our founding fathers. So, what can we learn from this pivotal period in our history? We're reminded of the power of dialogue, debate, and compromise in creating a better future. We're reminded that the United States is a nation defined by its capacity to adapt and grow. As we move forward in our exploration of American history, we'll continue to uncover the remarkable stories that have shaped our nation. From the challenges of the Civil War to the transformative moments of the 20th century, our journey is far from over. But for now, we'd like to express our gratitude for your interest in our series. Your curiosity and passion for history are what make this journey so worthwhile. If you found this video informative and engaging, please consider liking and sharing it with others who share your love for history. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated with future episodes and continue your voyage through the annals of American history. Thank you for being part of this historical exploration. Until next time, stay curious, stay passionate, and keep exploring the rich tapestry of our nation's past. Together, we will unveil the stories that have made America the remarkable nation it is today. Goodbye, and see you in the next episode.